I'll be very brief, and I will follow up on Dr. Holland's kind of optimism about what we're going through. First, I'll begin with the COVID or the pandemic impact from a regional perspective, basically the UAE and Dubai area. As many of you know, the UAE and Dubai in particular remains one of the most competitive markets for higher education in the world. So for example, in 2017, the UAE's education market was expected to grow 4.4 billion US dollars to 7.1 billion by 2023. As a result, there was a huge rush in this area to invest. Unfortunately, those that rushed here were investors and not educators. Therefore, this competitive market can also be categorized as a saturated market. And one thing I have noticed with the fall enrollment that we just experienced, and what I predict will continue into the spring and perhaps into the next academic year, is that there will be a thinning of the herd. There will be a natural selection by students and parents of the top institutions that will continue to prosper. Students and parents will invest, and they will become even more discerning in selecting in and investing in their education. Now, as we move into that direction, we continue facing the challenges brought by COVID-19. I will categorize the major challenges in my response and identify what I believe to be the two most overriding challenges that have had the biggest impact, at least on my university. First, it's fiscal. We know this, it's money. This, for many, if not all of us, is based upon enrollments and the fact that we are tuition dependent. This past summer, the predictive model for fall enrollments was all over the place. Some predicted the deadly drop in enrollments as students waited out the pandemic or took a gap year, while others predicted a slight increase as local students stayed home or they returned from larger markets like the US or the UK, facing greater pandemic challenges. The second biggest challenge, in my opinion, is planning, and in particular, strategic planning. When it is difficult to plan for tomorrow, it seems at times now to be almost impossible to plan for 5 years out. Good planning is based on fiscal health or strength, but sometimes the best planning is done during the lean years, like we are experiencing now. Certainly, we are all learning to do more with less. And in some ways, this makes us more efficient, we hope. And that is why I constantly remain optimistic and look for the advantages of these challenges. Strongly connected to these two challenges, the fiscal and planning challenges, is most importantly, I believe, our messaging. How we speak about the value and the dire importance of what we do is now, more than ever, of vital importance. With students and parents demanding discounts because a semester is online, they devalue what our faculty do, and they devalue their own ability to learn. The need for many of us here as presidents and chancellors to push back against the onslaught of treating education as a pure commodity that should be discounted is ever present. And yes, while reduced fees demonstrates empathy for what many families are going through, and I do understand exceptions, the reduction of fees also suggests to students that they are less able to learn as much with new models of instruction, and therefore we should charge less. At the end of the day, this pandemic will not last. To quote the famous phrase, "This too shall pass." But our institutions, our missions will last and they will endure. We will perhaps be smaller, leaner, and if we are able to fiscally survive and strategically invest, even in these very difficult times, we will prosper and the value of our degrees and our education will increase. 4 minutes and 36 seconds. Thank you, guys.